Hello everybody, welcome back to F1 Manager 24, where Brawn GP the second are taking on the Chinese Grand Prix, and we have some updates to put on the cars as I try and sort out my microphone once again that's deciding not to behave and stay in place. There we go. Yeah, both drivers doing pretty well, I'd say, but they are going to get an improved car for China. So in car number one for Daniel Ricciardo, he already has underfloor 1 on the car, which is making him much better, as you can see. So rank on grid, it is actually, if we put the old one back on his car, he would get 2 grid places less on medium speed, 3 on high speed, and have a lot more extra weight as well. But we do now have an underfloor 2 that we can put on Ollie Beerman's car as well, which is very, very helpful. The front wings, both of those are done. These are going to be huge as yeah, you can see the increase on grid, rank on grid is always the one I like to look at. Rank on grid, 10 plus improvement for low speed cornering in terms of our rank on grid, and +2 dirty air tolerance, much less extra weight as well. They are going on both cars, so lots of improvements coming to the car, which is lovely. We only have rear wing number 1 chassis. We do have number 2, but we haven't built any yet, and we're not going to emergency manufacturing because we're being more sensible with our finances this year. And suspension, we only have number 1, but we are developing a new suspension, a new rear wing, and a third new underfloor, or a third version of our underfloor, I should say. But what we do have the ability to do is, whilst we are building the underfloor and front wing just in there, we're being sensible. We could rush. Let's have a look. So that would be 10 days. So 20 days you'd get, yeah, 20 days you'd get 2 components. So both of them would have it on for Imola. Daniel Ricciardo may have the new chassis for Miami Gardens, potentially. Okay, and then 40 days means we'll have spares for Monte Carlo, in Monaco, and Montreal as well. So not too bad. 2.2 million. We've got a lot of money in the bank. Cost cap is still looking good as well. We are in a better position because the drivers are bringing in money nearly every race, which is really good. So we are doing, as I said, a third underfloor, a second rear wing, second suspension. I think is the research period is open. What have we got? So we've got minor, and these that have already had. So we could do, I don't know. Do we start some research? Do we pop on to go for a new front wing? What have we got? So we've got tyre preservation, airflow sensitivity are going to be hit. Okay, so we could just get one going with no thing and then just try and hit our airflow sensitivity. I mean, tyre preservation is the worst, 30% hit. But I still sort of feel like if we can do a little bit of work on maybe everything, or do we just go for tyre preservation? It's going to be tough, isn't it? It's going to be tough. Let's hit the major tyre preservation. Just one engineer on that, 44 days. That'll keep it going for quite a while, won't it? So there you go. We started a bit of research for next season as well, which is good. So we've got a lot of stuff happening in the pipeline, but now it's time to get into the Chinese Grand Prix and see how our new cars get on. So we are 11th on the grid still, apparently. So I think we'll put Daniel Ricciardo as 13th, and we'll go. Surely Ollie Beerman gets 17th or higher. Okay, we'll go with that. If they both hit it, it's $1 million coming in. I'll be back for qualifying. Okay, China is our first sprint weekend of a Grand Prix weekend, so let's get into sprint qualifying and see how we get on. Now, a question I had for the viewers of this series is, what about simming some races potentially, and we'll see how we can get on with some simming, because I feel like we could progress this first season a little bit quicker potentially, and yeah, I feel like doing that in terms of simming practice, qualifying and races is potentially an option. Obviously, if there's wet weather in a race, I think then we need to take control. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do we want to do every single race live like this? I really enjoy it. I'm happy to do that. But for this first season, do we want to simulate a few and see how we get on. But you can see there are some drivers coming out for SQ1, so we'll send out Daniel Ricciardo with our new components on the car for the first time. And we got some decent setups as well. Daniel Ricciardo had 97%. Ollie Behrman not as good, getting about an 82, I think, 84, something like that. As Daniel Ricciardo is just coming round and he goes 6th. Lovely stuff from Daniel Ricciardo, although quite a few drivers behind him as well that are going to have to set some times. Behrman is 11th, Ricciardo drops to 10th. But that should see us through, I think. We'll get them both in, potentially get them back out again. We have to go on the mediums because it's sprint qualifying in sprint Q1. But yeah, we'll just get them out and then potentially get them out again. Leclerc, Norris, Stroll. There goes Verstappen. There's going to be loads of people going out together. Let's send out Ricciardo there. And then we'll send out Behrman there, who's going to be tucked in. I mean, it's a mess. That is a mess of people out, isn't it? Going for their second qualifying laps as we keep an eye on Daniel Ricciardo just to make sure nothing happens untoward. He's up to 11th, Behrman 13th. Looks like both of them going through to Q2 for the sprint. Right, what I forgot to do, and I've just thought about this, is put the better components back in the car. Bollocks. Yes, that's a pain. That's a pain. They're both running their more or shitter components. There's no other way to phrase it. Yes, I've made a boo-boo with that. That is me making the old boo-boo and screwing our drivers over, which is why they're probably in like 10th and 11th. So Daniel Ricciardo is going to have lots of free air here and should be able to set what arguably will be his best time. He goes first, but let's see where he does come in. 10th, Behrman down in 14th, so yeah, I think we're going to have to try and get both drivers out in that fresh air again, because it does seem to make a difference. But at the moment, Daniel Ricciardo is going through. Yeah, let's send Danny Rick out straight away. And then we'll just tell him to make sure those tyres are back on. Norris is going out. Oh, I didn't want to press reconfigure. I didn't want to press reconfigure. I want to press send out. There we go. So Behrman is out early in front of the pack. And Danny Ricciardo again should have that free air, which should in theory set him a good time as more rubber is laid down on the track. But in 10th at the moment, going through, and he stays 10th. But you'd imagine Alonso's going to improve. Yeah, Alonso does improve, and Tsunoda as well. But it looks like both drivers are out. 12th and 15th, so not dreadful. And now I'm wondering, can we make the component changes and get the good engines back in the car? Not sure if you're allowed to do it in between. No, it's Parc Ferme. We might be able to do it in between the actual the sprint and the actual race. Not too sure, because obviously we have a new qualifying session after that. Daniel Ricciardo, yeah, okay, so we'll put both of them on mediums. And then obviously we'll tell them to push quite a lot in the sprint. I'm not too fussed about the sprint. I'd rather have a good, like a decent race. I think we're just going to leave that. I just want us to have a decent race in the main Grand Prix, not the sprint race. Sorry, struggling with my words today. Struggling with my words. But here we are in Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. 5 red lights. We're away. And how are we going to get on here then? They've changed that, haven't they? Because the camera angle used to sort of pan from like further down the start-finish straight. Ollie Behrman again. Rather he just got home, so I'll ask him to rarely defend. Danny Rick's good. Let's get him on. Let's get him overtaking people. I mean, you got to finish top 8 for a point, so it's always going to be tough. But yeah, Danny. Did anyone take the softs? No. Hulkenberg took the hards. Interesting. Maybe saving a set of mediums for the main race. But Ollie Behrman overtakes Nico Hulkenberg on his hard tyres, just round the outside into the snail corner, and then has the inside and tucks in behind what I assume is Valtteri Bottas. Well done, Ollie Behrman. Ollie Behrman's got another move done. We're looking at his rear wing, but you'll see Valtteri Bottas on his outside there, tucks it up the inside. Lovely move again by Ollie Behrman. So Daniel Ricciardo going up the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, and that is George Russell just in front as well. Not far off the points now. He might make a late lunge. So with 4 laps to go, this is Daniel Ricciardo right on the back of both Mercedes. If he can overtake both of them, He's in for a point in the sprint race, which would be absolutely epic. He's had a good race so far, done really well. As you can see, we are gaining a yellow flag somewhere. Ollie Behrman up to 14th. He did overtake Sargent, but those two, as I'm talking, are just switching positions. As Behrman, I'm going to assume, has been involved in this crash. Oh, it's going to be Logan Sargent's going to smash him in the arse, isn't he? Oh, and he has. And he's pushed Ollie Behrman off. Logan... Get him out of F1. Well, he is out of F1 in real life. He's saying he's okay. There's no damage to the car. He just drops down into 19th. So we'll just let him do his thing. So we'll focus on Daniel Ricciardo, who is on the back of Lewis Hamilton. We may actually be able to get him a good little move here. If we can get a good run out of this corner. Use a bit of deploy as we come out of here. Hamilton just weaving a little bit. Coming around the big right hander, then you've got the massive straight. We've got a time penalty. Ollie Behrman got a time penalty for Logan Sargent hitting him. Unbelievable. Go on, Daniel. You got this. You got this move. We're up into 9th. Now we've just got to catch George Russell and see if we can get that last points paying position in the sprint. So we're on the final lap. Daniel Ricciardo is up into 8th place. I've just missed the replay. Apologies. But there we go. He overtook Hamilton and Russell. So you can see coming down here, he had DRS on both of them, got into the first turn, and Daniel Ricciardo is up into the last points-paying position of the sprint race, and that is absolutely wonderful. We are going to get him to push as much as he can because Russell and Hamilton are right behind him, and we're not going to have DRS, so we're going to need to try and push as best as we can to get away from the two Mercedes drivers. Ollie Behrman's dropped into last position, but I'm not too worried about that because he's not in the points anyway. He's just got to get the car home safe. But you can see we have put a second between us and George Russell. So if we can manage this to the end of the race, this will be absolutely epic. As there is Fernando Alonso just in front of us. And Daniel Ricciardo's having such a good drive here in China. He's done really, really well. In fact, we can even push these tyres because they're not overheating, and this is the last few corners. We'll just make sure fuel stays in. Get that back into neutral. We are catching Alonso as well. I don't think we're going to have enough to get him into the final few corners. Max Verstappen wins. We are very close to Fernando. Just deploy the battery. Can we get this done? Can we get this done? Use your battery. Get up the inside of him. It'll be a couple of extra points. He's not going to get it done, but it's a fantastic drive from Daniel Ricciardo. 1 point in the sprint to Brawn. And he nearly had him up to the line, to be honest. But great work, Daniel Ricciardo. Ollie Behrman down in 20th with a grid penalty. Well done, Ollie. You got the car home safe. So the sprint race then, Verstappen wins it, Perez second, Charles Leclerc third, Sainz fourth, Piastri, then Norris, Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo climbing 4 places to pick up the last point is awesome. And yeah, Ollie Behrman dropped 5, but yeah, we'll work on that in the main race. Right, into qualifying we go for the actual Grand Prix, and we can put our nice engine components back on the car for qualifying, which is so much better. The car will perform better with those components on it. And we've just got to make sure we do the same as well. Oh, he's actually got a little wear on that. We'll leave that 75% one in there for Ollie Behrman then. That's not a problem. The ERS. Okay, we've actually got the better ERS installed as well. Maybe I forgot to change them for Ollie Behrman. Yeah, it looks like I did. Oh, well, there we go. So Ollie Behrman was just pretty rubbish in that race. But into qualifying for the main Grand Prix then, yes, 76% car setup for Behrman, 97% for Daniel Ricciardo. Let's get into it. Q1, this will be a longer episode, I'm sure. But yeah, into Q1 we go. People are going out already. We're going to put Daniel Ricciardo out in that gap. And then we'll put Ollie Behrman out behind Nico Hülkenberg just to get these first laps in. See how the guys can do. Daniel Ricciardo is starting his fast lap. He's going to catch Guan Yu Zhou, but in a good place. And Russell. That shouldn't affect his times too much. And he goes quicker than Lando Norris. Get in. What a start for Daniel Ricciardo in qualifying 1. Ollie Behrman goes second fastest at the moment. I'm going to assume everyone's hit traffic. We should not be quicker than Norris and Stroll. That's weird. Okay, and now the timing charts seem to take some sort of order that you would expect, with Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Piastri all going towards the top. There's a nice gap there for Ollie Behrman. Let's get him out in that gap, because he needs to go again. And we're going to get Daniel Ricciardo out behind, or just out in front of Lewis Hamilton. which is nice. But Ollie Behrman should hopefully have some clean air here, and he does, as does Daniel Ricciardo, to set their final chances in Q1 for the Chinese Grand Prix. P12 for Ollie Behrman, and Ricciardo climbs to 8th. So, yeah, that underfloor that I think Ricciardo has and Behrman doesn't seems to be making a difference. But it looks like both drivers are going to be into Q2, which is all we need at this stage. So into Q2 we go. I think we're going to try and get Daniel Ricciardo that clean air at the front again, and then Behrman out behind Hamilton, and hopefully not too much traffic in front of them. I think Danny Rick's timed this well again. I think he's going to be good. He shouldn't hit Stroll, and he's not going to hit Stroll. It's a 1:32.0 for Daniel Ricciardo, and Ollie Behrman does. He's a second slower. Hamilton goes ahead. Sainz jumps to the top. Yeah, it's going to be tough for both our drivers, but you know, we have faith. We're going to put them on fresh, soft tyres for their next run as well to make sure they can maximise their chances. Indeed, we're going to send out Daniel Ricciardo there. We're going to send out Behrman there, and hope that all these people that are coming into pit don't get out in front of Ricciardo, and they don't. Ricciardo's going to get a free run, as is Behrman. We have timed this perfectly. You will not be able to set a better time. Daniel Ricciardo stays in P8, and Ollie Behrman crosses the line and stays in P14. We both could be going out. Verstappen will improve to push Ricciardo down to 10th. Russell will probably improve. I think Q2 is going to be our limit. At the moment, it is 11th and 16th is probably where we're going to sit, although Tsunoda just jumps ahead, as does Iwasa. But we know that we have race pace, so that's okay. So, no bad weather to deal with here. It is just going to be cloudy on race day in Shanghai. So we'll take Ricciardo down as much as we can. We'll take 3 laps out of Ollie Behrman in there as well. We're going to get them both to push as hard as they possibly can off the line. And we need to. I'm trying to. What were the? I think it was 12th for Daniel Ricciardo. Maybe was it 12th and 18th? I think were the positions that we needed. Anyway, I'll sort out the strategy. We'll be right back. Okay, so both our drivers are going to start on a soft tyre strategy. We're going to try and make up positions very early on. Ollie Behrman's actually going to try and extend his soft stints a little bit harder by pushing less, and then we're going to get our mediums on at the end, whereas Daniel Ricciardo is going to go on the softs, then mediums, and end on a lighter stint of softs, and hopefully be able to pick up the pace. But here we go into the Chinese Grand Prix. Can we pick up some points? We've got some work to do to get into the top 10, but hopefully we can make something happen. We've got a lockout at Red Bull up front. One's on mediums, one's on softs. That's the camera angle I was expecting to see when we zoomed out, but as you can see, Daniel Ricciardo in 13th is going to have to make some moves early on. Ollie Behrman, rarely defend and avoid high-risk curbs because I don't want you to do any sort of damage at all. Danny Ricciardo, go for it, son. Absolutely go for it. See what you can do on those soft tyres, as he's got both of the RBs in front of him, or the V-carbs. Iwasa up into 10th, jumps past Lance Stroll early on in this one. Daniel Ricciardo having a little look around the outside, closed off there. It's not actually too bad, is it? Because Behrman's not too far behind him. We've got someone on the hards there, Logan Sargent, who sort of took Ollie Behrman out of the last race of the sprint. But yeah, the front runner's mainly on soft, so we are sort of doing a strategy that seems to, or appears on paper, to match the front runners. But we do need to get some moves done early on these soft tyres. Around us, what have we got? Mediums, softs, hards. Okay, so we should catch Stroll. And then it's just hoping that the plan works. That's all this is about, right? Hoping the plan works, generally. So we've got a bit of a double overtake here. Ollie Behrman has got Sargent whilst I was watching Daniel Ricciardo with the DRS down the long straight. He's up on the inside of Logan Sargent, and this time the American driver doesn't hit him and give our driver a penalty. But also, Daniel Ricciardo has just passed Yuki Tsunoda, as you can see here. Just got past him into turn 1 as well, which was lovely stuff. And yeah, both drivers moving up a position, making those soft tyres work for them, and hopefully getting everything in line as they should be. And Daniel Ricciardo has just passed Lance Stroll. We said on those hard tyres he'd be a bit of a sitting duck, and he turns out to be that. Up to 11th then for Daniel Ricciardo, pushing that car quite hard and making a good job of it as well, as we just need to start thinking about tyre conservation for Ollie Bearman as well. But Daniel Ricciardo up into 11th with Iwasa next in his sights. And our boy is absolutely flying. He's just passed Iwasa up into the point-paying positions on 10th. In 10th, again, DRS straight down into that long straight into the right-hander, gets it done. And Daniel Ricciardo's having a lovely time in China. And he's already caught up to the Mercedes drivers who are on similar tyres to him. And doing fine. He's having a great old time of it, Daniel Ricciardo. He's right on the back of Alonso, Russell and Hamilton. And we could potentially see a move done here, because I think Russell should take Alonso. He thinks he's got the pace to get past Hamilton, and it looks like he does onto the inside. Obviously, keep him on that aggressive strategy. Oh, looked like a bit of a connection there with the back of Lewis Hamilton's rear tyre. Hopefully that'll just be a racing incident. But yeah, look at Daniel Ricciardo go. He is on fire, Danny Rick. Come on, son. You've got this. Is he going to get another move done here up the inside of George Russell? He's got Fernando Alonso sort of boxing him in, although both of us are now boxing in George Russell. This is aggressive driving from Daniel Ricciardo. He gets it done. And I'm wondering if we can try and push away now and get past Alonso and make a move up into those point positions. This is what we wanted on the soft tyre. We want us to make chances, make the moves and get it done, to be honest. As Danny Rick having a look at Fernando Alonso going up that inside again. He's going to get Fernando Alonso there. We're going to take him off battle assist and we're just going to let him try and drive away on those soft tyres, because he is hanging them out. And he is, he's already nearly put a second thanks to his soft tyres and his DRS. And if he can just keep deploying round these corners, he might be able to pull away. Otherwise, he's going to be a sitting duck on the starting straight. So we'll take that off. Put battle assist on just in case he needs to use it against Fernando Alonso for the moment. But yeah, Daniel Ricciardo's doing a fantastic job. So Daniel Ricciardo comes in for his first stop, immediately followed by Lewis Hamilton. We are pitting from what was 4th and 5th, but obviously some of the front runners have already pitted. But Daniel Ricciardo here is going to have that long journey down to the end. So Hamilton may jump him here. It'll be an interesting stop, but we need a good stop. We need a good stop. Hamilton has his tyres changed. It looked like a good stop from Lewis Hamilton. This needs to be good so that we can get out in front of Hamilton as the softs go off. The mediums, come on! Hamilton's going to get in front of us, is he? Yes, he is. We got held because Hamilton was there. It would have been an unsafe release. So, unlucky. A good stop, but Hamilton jumps us in the pits. That's just the problem with being one of the last pit stops, because everybody can have that access out before you. We need to get some heat in these tyres. We need to deploy our battery and make sure that we do not lose that gap to Lewis Hamilton, or at least close that gap back to within a second so that his DRS can pull us around. Ollie Bearman up for his stop pretty soon as well. But yeah, to be fair, we're doing okay. Leclerc overtakes Ollie Bearman. That's not a surprise, to be honest. Not a surprise to anyone. Ollie Bearman comes in as well. He is doing back-to-back soft tyre stints, which will be very interesting. Daniel Ricciardo is in now 12th and has overtaken Lewis Hamilton, but those two are in a bit of a battle between each other. But Ollie Bearman here will be hoping for a good stop, maybe get out around Albon and Magnussen, I think would be our objective, and then getting onto another set of soft tyres to hopefully give him a bit more pace, as it's a good stop. 2.8, not too bad. Hamilton re-overtakes Daniel Ricciardo as hopefully we close the gap. And there is... Oh, we don't quite get out in front of Albon, but it's not too bad. Let's see if he can get some temperature into those tyres to start with. We'll get him on deploy because he's got lots of battery there to use. But let's have a quick look at who has not pitted. So Stroll, Tsunoda, Russell, Alonso, all in front on those hards or mediums, are probably going to need to come in soon as well. Bearman has got Albon and Bottas that both need to pit as well. So I think Ollie Bearman's actually having a decent race here as he looks up the inside of Alex Albon and gets it done live on camera. We love to see that, Ollie. Keep it going. Oh, he's been touched by Albon there. Oh, is he out? He was in front. He was in front of Albon. And he's got shunted in the back. And he's trying to keep it on the track. He is still going. If they give us a penalty for that, that's horrendous. But we stay in 16th. No damage to the car, thank God. But Ollie Bearman, he got past Albon. I think Albon's gained a huge advantage from that. And Albon should get a penalty. Because we were way in front. We were so far in front in that situation that is just unfair on Ollie Bearman. So we'll have to see what comes through with it, but I'm expecting Albon to get a penalty for that, along with his damage that he's got as well. That's just so irritating. It's so irritating that can happen. They're investigating it. No penalties. Are you absolutely joking me, FIA? That is absolutely ludicrous. We were so far in front of Alex Albon. That is not a racing incident. That is Albon hitting us from behind. Unbelievable. So Daniel Ricciardo is up into 8th as he dives on the inside of Lance Stroll, gets that move done, and is using those medium tyres very well, up to 8th. Okay, we've had an incident. 2 cars are out. It's not Ollie Bearman and it's not Daniel Ricciardo. They're saying oh, it's at the front. It's Lando Norris, who's in 2nd. He's just hit the Alfa Romeo, not the Alfa Romeo, the Kick Sauber. You didn't get hit, mate. You hit him again from behind. That should be a penalty for Lando Norris, or not doing blue flags, which is actually what the penalty should probably be for the Kick Sauber of Zhou, I'd imagine. But yeah, no safety car or anything like that, just a yellow flag. But Daniel Rick up into 8th, Ollie Bearman in 14th. Both drivers doing pretty well, but Lando Norris did pick up damage. Leclerc has a mechanical fault, Bottas has a mechanical fault as well, and Zhou out in last has a larger or more significant mechanical fault as well. No penalties for that incident either. Definitely not a racing incident, but the FIA will make their decisions as they see fit. Ollie Bearman climbs a place, overtaking Iwasa, which is really good for him, up to 13th. Again, down that long straight into the right-hander just before the end of the lap. He gets another move done. Well done, Ollie Bearman. So Danny Ricks, I think old mediums are just starting to catch up with him. Yuki Tsunoda gets him down the start-finish straight into turn 1. George Russell passed him earlier as well. So it's just about Danny Rick holding on in there now. So Ollie Bearman is just going to be coming in for his last and final stop, as Tsunoda has a pit stop issue, which is great news for us because he's in front of Ollie Bearman. But yeah, he's coming in off those 2 soft tyre stints. He will now be going on to the mediums. And this should be his last stop, and he should have decent pace on the mediums at the end. Obviously, Danny Ricciardo's had okay pace on the mediums, just dropping down the order a little bit, but Danny Rick will be finishing on the soft tyre, so hoping that they can make that work. A good stop, 2.5 seconds there for Ollie Bearman. That should see him out in front of Bottas, hopefully. No, he just comes out behind Bottas, and he'll have, well, a little bit of a race on his hands towards the end. Hopefully he can climb a couple of places. He's in a good position at the moment, so not too worried about him. He is just about to get lapped, I think, by one of the Aston Martins, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Danny Rick. Oh, we've come back just to see Alonso pass Daniel Ricciardo as well, so there we go. That has just happened live on screen, but he'll be in onto those soft tyres for the last stint of the race after this lap. So Daniel Ricciardo just about to enter the pits as a yellow flag is waved, not too sure what for. Bearman has overtaken Bottas. Logan Sargent ran wide, obviously. Logan Sargent is a terrible F1 driver. But here is Danny Rick. He needs a good stop here. We can't afford to lose any positions through the pit stop. And it's definitely not, I was going to say, our crew aren't even out, but they are. They're just coming out now with those soft tyres for Danny Ricciardo's last stint in the Chinese Grand Prix. On they go. It's a good stop, 2.6. Not bad at all. Stroll is just going to take us. Hopefully we get out in front of Yuki Tsunoda. That's the crucial one. And we are well in front of Yuki Tsunoda. Excellent stuff. Daniel Ricciardo can bring this home. He's pitted already out. P11, fresh tyres. Get these softs to the end. And hopefully we'll be in a cracking position to make some points in the Chinese Grand Prix. Zhou, I think, is now out with that mechanical fault. I'm pretty sure that is going to be Guan Yu Zhou retiring from this Grand Prix as Ollie Bearman gets a move done on Alex Albon. Again, he's loved to move down into this little start-finish long straight, and that is what we need Ollie Bearman to do. Make up those places. And the good news is Ollie Bearman has a spare set of soft tyres. If something happens at the end of the race, Ollie Bearman can whack on a set of softs and will be in a good position as well. So we just need to make sure we get some temperature into those tyres for Daniel Ricciardo, and then we'll lower how aggressive he is with them. But at the moment, it's not looking too bad. Oh, we have a safety car. We have a safety car. Is that because Ollie Bearman has crashed or done something? Because he says he can't believe it. Zhou's got a mechanical. Has he just stopped on track? Is that Zhou just stopping on track to cause the safety car? Yes, I think it is. I think it is, because Zhou is still out. He has just stopped on track. Okay, Ollie Behrman, do we put you onto a set of soft tyres? I mean, your mediums are pretty new. Ricciardo's just gone onto a set of softs, so this could work out quite well for Daniel Ricciardo, depending on who else pits. Let's... I mean, Ollie Behrman, that's probably why he's moaning. I know, he's coming up to the pits. He has got a big gap. Let's risk it. Let's risk it for a... Oh, he doesn't have a new set of softs. We'll leave him on his mediums. We'll leave him on his mediums. That's fine. But it is a safety car. It is a full-blown safety car as Guan Yu Zhou has to stop in the middle of the circuit with that mechanical fault of his. So, let's see. All these people are going to come into pit, put on fresh tyres. I mean, the only thing is... I might have left it a bit late for Ollie Behrman now, according that he's there. No, these are his best. We could put hards on and absolutely gun them to the end. But I guess given the fact he's got pretty much brand new mediums, he's probably going to be okay. I assume all these people are going to come out in front of Ollie Behrman anyway. Oh no, Ollie Behrman is jumping some positions under the safety car through the pits. That's not too bad. Daniel Ricciardo, who is anyone in front of Ricciardo going to come in? So Perez is coming in. What does Danny Rick have in his lock? Yeah, he's got a brand new set of softs. He's literally got a brand new set of softs. Sort of have to, right? We sort of have to. It makes sense. I know he's got brand new set on, but it's a safety car, and it makes sense to stop and get as fresh tyres on as possible. I feel a bit bad for Ollie Behrman, because we could have put hards on him, but I don't think there's much point. Yeah, Verstappen out on softs. Sainz has gone hards. They have just put a brand new set of hards on. Piastri is in. I assume everybody's going to pit. I will assume everybody... No, Perez stays out. Okay. Wow, Perez stays out. Okay, Hamilton in. Russell in. Alonso in. I mean, Mercedes are double stacking here. So, Ricciardo pitting from 10th. Is this going to be a bad decision from the team principal? On fresh softs. He's got 94% softs, but that 99% soft could make the difference. It really could make the difference. It's just whether Tsunoda's got 90% hards. Is Tsunoda going to pit? Are we going to lose some positions because of this pit stop? Daniel Ricciardo in the pit lane. Yuki Tsunoda does not pit. Yuki Tsunoda's going to jump us into 10th. He stays out on his hard tyre. And Daniel Ricciardo comes in for a brand new set of softs. Please be a good stop. Please. Please be a good stop. Danny Rick's in. 2.8. It's not dreadful. It's not dreadful for a free set of soft tyres. There is Lance Stroll. We're just going to lose out to Lance Stroll as well. But, okay, it's not dreadful. It's not dreadful. Stroll is on 98% medium. Tsunoda's on 89% hards. We've got the quicker tyre. We should be off the line quicker from the restart. Let's see what happens. Okay, what I've noticed by looking at the big map is that Ollie Behrman has a massive gap to the safety car. I'm taking a risk with Ollie Behrman. We're putting him on hards. We're putting on a fresh set of hards, and he is going to absolutely rip them to shreds. That is what Ollie Behrman is going to do. So Ollie Behrman, because he can pit, come out, and still be behind Daniel Ricciardo, so that's not a problem at all. It's a risky strategy, but both drivers going onto fresh tyres. Ricciardo did lose 2 positions out of the points, but everyone's going to bunch up. We're on better tyres. That's my plan. So lapped cars are unlapping themselves, but Ollie Behrman has caught up to Daniel Ricciardo, so both drivers are out. We're just going to prepare for this straight away. Everyone trying to warm up their tyres. We are keeping them on what we've had. Rarely defend and medium for Ollie Behrman, and aggressive and neutral for Daniel Ricciardo. So it's going to get underway here in China after the safety car. Both drivers on fresh tyres. You can see here. So Danny Ricks have already gone down to 91%. So I think it did make sense to put him on a fresh set. Ollie Behrman there with 96%, but on the hard, which is the slower tyre, but he's got a long way back to Iwasa because of the lap cars overtaking. So the safety car's pulled away. We're just waiting for Max Verstappen to get this race back underway. and see what he can do. As you can see, Daniel Ricciardo trying to put some heat into those tyres as much as possible. Everyone's tyres are up to where they need to be. So let's just drop that down to aggressive. Safety car is back in. And Max Verstappen, you would imagine, as he goes around that corner, will put his foot down. Everyone trying to get a good position. Let's see. Let's see how we go from here. I'm expecting Ollie Behrman to be left behind a little bit because he's on those hard tyres. But I'm hoping that Daniel Ricciardo can get a good start, get some positions early on, be aggressive. At the moment, I think both drivers are in positions where we get paid out for the bonus as well, which is really good. But points would be awesome. There is a yellow flag somewhere, but nothing to note so far. Iwasa locked up, but that's behind us, so that's not too much of an issue. Tsunoda's the one. Tsunoda is the one we need to tumble down from VCARB. They're our main challenger in terms of points and prizes. So we'll have to see how this goes for Daniel Ricciardo. Don't want him to overheat those tyres, so I will be keeping an eye on him. But you can see he's hanging on to DRS. Ollie Behrman's struggling, but that's because he's on the hard tyre. We knew that would be an issue, but we shall see. Hulkenberg did close the gap quite a bit to Ollie Behrman, but 18 seconds is still quite far behind, so not too worried. Come on, Danny Rick, put it in. Put it in. What can you do here? This first lap has been uneventful after the safety car. Verstappen's already got over a second lead to Sainz, but everyone else is still pretty bunched, so let's see what we can do as Ollie Behrman's closed the gap on his teammate now. Come on. You know you can catch Lance Stroll. We've been here before. We can catch him. We've overtaken him loads of times in this race already. Let's just make it happen. Let's make it happen as we come round the final corners of the first lap under or after the safety car. We are drifting away from Lance Stroll, which is not what we need. Come on, Daniel. Come on, Daniel. Make it work. Right, we are properly racing now with DRS and everything. Yuki Tsunoda on those used hards is tumbling like a brick. He's down to 11th, and we've got Daniel Ricciardo right on the back of him now. And we're doing well. Both drivers slightly overheating their tyres. I think we'll just keep an eye on Daniel's being on the soft a bit more than Behrman. I sort of feel like Behrman can probably just drop to aggressive and be fine. But yeah, both drivers doing all right. Ollie Behrman is losing a little bit of pace, but as long as he gets the car home in 13th, I'll be a happy man. And yeah, Daniel Ricciardo just needs to get this move done. And with DRS here, he may. We've had a good car under DRS, and there we go. He pulls out to the right-hand side. Let's get on board, and he's going to get that done on those soft tyres easily enough. And next in his sights is Lance Stroll, who I've said before, we've been overtaking quite a lot in this Grand Prix, as Leclerc has a major mechanical fault. He may be dropping down the order a little bit in a while. But yeah, good stuff from Daniel Ricciardo, up to 11th, 1 place off the points with 10 laps to go. It's going to be close at the end, and look at that, gaining on Lance Stroll there into the tight right-handers. That new front wing will be doing wonders for Daniel Ricciardo in these sorts of corners. These low-speed, medium-speed cornering with that new front wing would be lovely. And go on, Danny, just stick one up the inside, get past Stroll as soon as we can, close that gap to Fernando Alonso in front as well. And let's see what we can do in China. We've actually got quite a lot of battery. Daniel Ricciardo seems to manage his battery incredibly well. And I'm hoping that we can... In fact, we don't really want to make it happen here, do we? We want to stay behind Stroll. Let's top up. We want to stay behind Stroll into the DRS zone. Because then the DRS will puncture the air forward for us towards Alonso, because Stroll is not getting DRS. So we are in a good position here. So now we can go back to neutral. Coming around this corner into the DRS. We should then get Lance Stroll in a good position as we come down this really, really long straight, which is just ludicrously good for us with our DRS and a bit of battery and a bit of slipstream and on the softer tyres compared to Lance Stroll. Daniel Ricciardo makes it stick. Great work from him. His tyres are overheating a little bit as well, so we'll just get him to cool them down a little bit. And Daniel Ricciardo can now push and try and catch his, well, experienced driver alongside him. I think Alonso and Daniel Ricciardo will be the oldest two drivers on the grid. Lewis Hamilton would be up there as well. But, oh, Lance Stroll just sends it down the inside. That was cheeky from Lance, isn't it? I was not expecting that. As Ollie Behrman just seems happy to be sitting in 13th at the moment. Nothing too much there. But I do think we'll get Lance Stroll back, so I'm not too concerned. If we're leapfrogging each other and pulling us back up to these two in front, then that's not an issue at all, as Alonso's got past George Russell. So, well done to George Russell there. Danny Ricciardo having a little look up the inside, and Lance Stroll shuts the door. We're going to go around the outside now, are we? This is an interesting move from Daniel Ricciardo. Out on the outside, on the inside. Gets that one done. I mean, George Russell's right there for the taking. George Russell is there for the taking. Come on, foot down. See what we can do. Make this work. Sainz has a mechanical fault. Both Ferraris not having a good day with their engines so far. We're going to try and just deploy our battery out of here and see if we can keep Lance Stroll at bay behind us. I don't think we will. But so far, it's going well, and a few laps to go. The virtual safety car is out, and it is neither of our drivers. I'm going to suggest it's Alex Albon, who is facing the wrong way. I don't know how many laps we've got left. Daniel Ricciardo currently sits in 10th. We can keep pushing fuel, that's fine. Let's get our ERS harvesting. But yeah, Ollie Behrman having a good time of it. George Russell, I think, is within our limits to go. 6 laps to go. I don't know how long this VSC is going to last. It's normally about a lap, isn't it? Maybe less. I mean, Alex Albon is out, so they've just got to remove his car, basically. Got to get his car out of the way. But yeah, we're in a point. Daniel Ricciardo's with a point at the moment. Okay, VSC has ended, so we are back underway. We need to get some temperature back in our tyres, and we need to get all of this stuff on deploy. So it is away. Russell has got a better start than us because I was a little bit slow on getting us onto the push. But I still think we're going to catch. I think we're going to catch George Russell. I think we've got a chance of getting 9th here in this Grand Prix, and I'm very, very happy about that. I'm very, very happy about that indeed. As yeah, we're doing well. We're balancing everything pretty well at the moment. George Russell is right there and ripe for the taking. Can Daniel Ricciardo get us up to 9th in the Chinese Grand Prix? We are gaining on him as well. And he does get it done. I'll show you the replay. 5 more laps to go. We're going to keep Daniel Ricciardo pushing here to see what he can do. We'll get those temperatures back in tyres back in temperature. And Daniel Ricciardo into turn 1, as he's loved to do in today's Grand Prix. Just flies it up the outside, up into 9th. So there's reports Leclerc has got a major mechanical fault and he might be out of this Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo has lost out to George Russell, who just flew up the inside with DRS. But he's not out of it yet. Leclerc is still going, but that is quite a large mechanical fault with 1 lap to go. But yeah, Danny Rick still on the back of George Russell. Not quite in DRS, but Stroll is... Oh, he does have DRS, so we're going to whack him on top up for this lap. And see if we can get him on the last lap. Sit behind him. Really make sure we've got enough battery to attack at the end. And yeah, Ollie Behrman's doing fine as well in 13th. Just bringing the car home absolutely dandy. Lovely stuff from him. You can see how much we've gained to George Russell, where he doesn't have DRS off Lewis Hamilton in front of him. And we are topping up the battery and still gaining nicely on George Russell. And I'm happy to be fair, I'm happy to sit behind him, which means we can probably take aggressive overtakes off for now. Sit behind him in all these windy sections and then just absolutely gun it down the DRS long straight. So we should be in a good position here. That is the battery charged as much as it's going to be. So let's just make sure that we've got enough in our tank to make sure we keep pace and stay within DRS. And then we're going to have some tough decisions to make on the last lap. Do we go for it now? I think we do, to be honest. I think we do. I think we're going to be able to push. I think we're going to be able to push far enough away from George Russell. Catch him up on this DRS straight. Although we don't have DRS. But catch him up on this straight, which I think we'll do anyway. And then get him into the next one. Just here, where we should get DRS going down the start-finish straight. Hopefully. As we come out of here, we're going to be within a second. We may not be within a second, actually. Which is a little bit of a concern. Oh, we do have DRS. Okay, so we probably can make this work. But it's the last lap. We're going to get him. We're going to get George Russell. I'm confident. I'm confident we've got a faster car than George Russell in that Mercedes for this last lap in China. And we are very, very close to him already right now. Just stick where we are, Daniel. No need to push anything too hard. And if you do, we're going to absolutely fly away with our battery, hopefully. But yeah, a longer video today with the sprint race as well. All that good stuff happening. Ollie Behrman still sitting comfortably in 13th. He doesn't need to take any real risks. In fact, we can just tell him to ease off his tyres a little bit. As Daniel Ricciardo, this is fine. I don't mind being this close. I don't mind being this close in this area, Danny. Because this will set us up nicely for a move on the DRS straight. Which we should then be able to hold into the corner and to get to the start-finish line as well. So we are doing well. If Leclerc had just crashed out with that mechanical fault, it would have been epic. Because we would have gained a free position and more points. But good for us at the moment is we're in the points and VCarb are not. Both of their drivers are not in the points. So this is where Danny Ricciardo can make his move happen. He can get this one done. George Russell goes defensive, but it's not going to be enough. And Daniel Ricciardo, we've worked that really well. We've timed that well up on the inside. And then he should be able to deploy the remaining bit of his battery here. Don't worry about battle assist, mate. Just get all of that battery done. Lando Norris wins it from Max Verstappen, and Daniel Ricciardo is going to come home in 9th to take 2 points for Brawn again. Come on. What a race there from Daniel Ricciardo, as Ollie Behrman is going to come round as well the last few corners. He is going to be having a wonderful time of it, picking up 13th. That's really good for Ollie Behrman, and both drivers picking up the bonus money. That's going to be about $1 million coming through from our sponsors. Lovely stuff. So really good from both drivers. Daniel Ricciardo up 4 places to 9th to pick up 2 points as well. Ollie Behrman up 3 places. We got the strategy spot on, the safety car calls spot on as well. Really, really good stuff. And in the constructors, we go back into 6th. 2 points are clear of VCarb Red Bull up there now, which is just superb. We are making some improvements in our pit stops as well, although we're nowhere near getting the payouts, which is unfortunate. But 1.074 million is in the bank, and that is an absolute godsend. That is brilliant. A really good Chinese Grand Prix. Brawn did well, and our front wing is complete as well. So that's all them on. Willy Vogel goes up to an 86 overall rating as well, and I mean, what's amazing about that, right? No damage to either car. No parts need replacing. Money coming in. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Up next is Miami, where I do think we said we would have some more things coming in, right? So the chassis, we're going to have our underfloor for Ollie as well coming in for the second car. Although they both have it now. They both have it at the moment. But yeah, looking very nice. It's all coming up. Brawn at the moment, isn't it? Lovely stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.